What's going on, everyone? This is pretty much fresh off the press. There seems to be somebody that is basically faking it till you make it. It's kind of like you never know pretty much who somebody is until you actually figure it out. There's something comes out, the woodworks, or a lawsuit happens. Apparently, one of the most famous financial book authors is basically a fraud. Fake it till you make it. Grifter, basically. You know, this is pretty much why I didn't go that route. I mean, I could have went that route where, like I said, I've said time and time again, when it came to selling my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan, I could have. I'm very good at acting. I could have put on just a front like I was already a millionaire or extremely successful. Every time I went live, I could have just rented an Airbnb or went to get a hotel room, a high uh 4-star hotel room, hang out in the balcony. I mean, downtown Chicago, there's pretty much like penthouses. Could have went live in the penthouse. I could have rented a mansion. All you got to do is rent a mansion. You could rent a mansion for probably an hour or so. I could have rented a Lamborghini, rented a Bentley. I could have put on a front where it was like I was already a millionaire. I was already successful. But I didn't choose to go that route because basically I don't like being a liar. I really don't like lying, and unless it's like, I don't know, my life is in jeopardy. I mean, of course, what I'm saying? Like, other than that, just to try to make a little coin, just to make a little living, to just lie to people. Nah, I couldn't do that. It's not that important to me. Like, one of the things that I'll say, if I make my money, I made my money the way I wanted to make it. If, as far as like my concept of my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan, is definitely legit. It's helped people, it's helped myself. I mean, I'm talking to you pretty much live in my living room, you know, next to my fireplace. And it's not I'm not in a mansion, but it's like a mansion to me, definitely paid for. But it's like, basically, I guess some people want more, and they want to, pretend as if pretty much they got more than what they have. That's pretty much what's going on a lot in social media in the world today. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki obviously is not the first one that has ever done this, as far as like lied about their actual concepts. But I just find it interesting. When I saw this story, I was like, is this true? That was the first thing I was thinking about. And then when I found out that was true, it was just made me just kind of think like, damn, he put it on for a long time. I mean, he done already made his money, done filed bankruptcy, probably filed bankruptcy twice over. And he done already made his bread. I mean, I ain't gonna say that his concepts is not good too. I mean, the Rich Dad Poor Dad is a good book. The concept is definitely bona fide, I would say, but it's like the way he presented it, it's all a fantastical story. He didn't have no rich dad. He pretty much had a poor dad, just a middle class dad. I would imagine. I don't know. I mean, according to this article, I heard maybe it's something else. Maybe he could have been basically grew up with a single mom. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely gonna read this article. I'm gonna post this article as well in my chat for clarity's sake. But and then I'm gonna put this in the description of my video as well in the end. Let me do that right now. I could take care of that right now. Definitely take care of that. Let me see. I think you can't. I think you gotta wait till you done with the video. I'll put it in the end. I'll put it in the end of the video in the description. But yeah, I mean basically he he faked the funk on a nasty dunk. He basically presented this story. He went on tours, speaking lectures, speaking engagements. I mean, he was charging money for, basically speaking engagements, and he went on booking tours, and I mean he did everything you possibly can plus more to sell a book um that was basically based off of a fairy tale. Now, like I said, I ain't gonna shit on the book completely. I mean, it definitely is a very good book, but knowing that it's basically fairy tale, does that diminish the value of the book or not? I mean, I don't know. I mean, he definitely got caught up in a lie. Um, Definitely gonna get into the article, but I just want to just say, like, yeah, this dude, he did everything he possibly could to sell this book. His book is probably, I would say, definitely probably on the bestseller New York Times bestsellers list. He probably got it, really top book, one of the top books on Amazon. But he basically he made the story up. It was basically a concept that he made up. It's not true. He didn't have no rich dad that he went to that gave him financial advice. None of that shit. He was just no different than any other, internet grifter that just got some concept that they selling or whatever. And this, like I say, this is why I didn't do it. This is why when I came up with the millionaire savings plan, it was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it out there. I'm definitely just gonna be straight, full and frontal about where I'm at with things. And if you can utilize it and do it to where you get to the highest level you possibly can, so be it. I mean, I definitely had people email me, message me, and say, they've made quite a bit of money, hit a lot of savings goals. And I definitely have myself. Like I say, I'm talking to you inside my house, got 1,000 square feet house, pretty much a whole block. And this was due to me being able to save. If I didn't save money, if I was an average American that gets a paycheck and it's gone, and then I party on the weekend, and then I go back to work and I barely have enough money, I wouldn't have been able to buy this house. I don't know where I would have been. I mean, I would probably be trying to live with my grandmother or something permanently or whatever. Whatever I would have had to do, I would have had to do it. It wouldn't have been in, me being able to have anything that money can buy, because basically that's where I was at times in life. I had no savings because I always had a problem saving money. And the millionaire savings plan, it kind of made it a challenge and like kind of a game to like see how much you could possibly save. And then it's gratifying because you actually get a reward every time you reach a certain level. So it was like your brain, it's like your brain is being tricked to save money so you can get more rewards, more goals. And you constantly, like I drive around, or occasionally look at the house that I want to get, and look at mansions and stuff like that, just to remind myself, okay, this is what I get when I achieve that reward. You know, all of these things, it just kind of like helps. And I know if it's helped me, it's gonna help a lot of other people. And it's like, okay, yeah, I had two ways of going about this. One, I guess it's three ways I could have gone about it. And I talked about it when I talked about the fake it till you make it. When I did a video on faking it till you make it. One thing, like I said, I could have faked it and been just totally capped, like Robert Kiyosaki with Rich Dad and Poor Dad. I would have pretended that I was already a millionaire. Whatever the case may be, I would have just basically every time I go, I would have got I would have got a car, like with a Range Rover with an expensive car payment. I definitely could have did it back when I was really really working gainfully and everything like that. And then I could have it could have been if I really really wanted to go all the way with it, I would have got a downtown apartment in Chicago in the Loop. I mean, it's not that expensive, but it is costly. Could have got a Loop downtown apartment, a Range Rover, a Jaguar. Let's just say I would call it mid luxury, because you got high end luxury and then you got mid luxury. So high end luxury would be a Maserati, a Lamborghini, Ferrari, stuff like that. That's like high luxury, right? But you got what I would call mid luxury, where it's like a high performance Audi, Benz, a new brand new Benz, or something like that. It would just be an expensive car note. Could have did that, and then like I say, got to get a high end apartment, and then what I'm saying, pretty much market everything around Instagram, been total cap. I mean, meaning I actually, yeah, I still would have been capped, because yeah, I mean, I know, like now I'm going back to shitting on people that use credit because basically a lot of people actually live like this in one uh thing or another. That's literally a lot of people's lifestyle. I mean, that's like millions of Americans lifestyle right now, basically shitting on people right now that actually finance. But I mean, basically I could have done that, but also, like I said, took it a step further. And then people ask me questions like, "Are you a millionaire?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I got $1 million." I could have got like fake money, what I'm saying, and been counting it, but that's kind of ghetto to be count money. I don't necessarily recommend people to be count money, especially in Chicago. I mean, count money on live and shit like that with fake money. Um, or show like receipts or whatever, fake receipts. I mean, what I'm saying, like I could have done all of that, right? Or two, I could have kind of lied by omission. What do I mean by lying by omission? Basically, I could have never denied that I was a millionaire and or even said that I was a millionaire. Just totally pretended. Just don't even bring it up. Like I'll tell you this. One of the things about, people on social media, if you notice when you ever you bring up the idea or go into personal business or personal people's personal life, they don't ever want to talk about how much money they actually make or have. The reason why is because they probably, man, are broker than you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that's the reason why they don't want to talk about money, because basically when you go into that, it's like now, what I'm saying, you going into people's, um personal life and how they live. You know, I mean, they kid they their apartment look like this. You know what I'm saying? You go pretty much, they show you a picture of their apartment and it look like this. This is their apartment. You got people that actually live like this. Their house is completely done, but they just live like a complete total mess. I mean, that's why people don't necessarily like talking about money, because finances is a form of weakness. Like, pretty much that's what lawyers do. Like, companies, if you trying to sue them, they basically just like break you. They break your lawyer. Like, they draw out these long drawn out cases that take years to ultimately negotiate to a settlement. And if it does go to trial, they try to drag it out, because they know the average person ain't got the time or the money to be dragging out a long lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I mean, the thing is that, yeah, I mean, I could have done that. I could have just lied by omission and said that I just don't say anything. I just put on the front that, everything is lovely. I'm doing well. And of course I'm a millionaire. Everybody's a millionaire on YouTube. Everybody makes $100,000 a year on YouTube. Haven't you heard? You know, everybody makes $100,000. It's easy to make $100,000 a year on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, but you know, in your personal life, everybody's got $100,000 in a bank account. Haven't you heard? So yeah, I mean, pretty much that was what I didn't do as well. Lie by omission. And thirdly, and what I ultimately did was just I kept it real. No, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not anywhere close to being a millionaire. This book is basically off of concepts that I believe will help the average person save, depending on how much money you have. Uh, it will help you save more money and invest more money and come up with the idea and challenge yourself to make more money. That's what ultimately the millionaire savings plan pretty much is. You know, it literally is just that. It takes you from, let's just say you might be a paycheck to paychecker type of person where you just live paycheck to paycheck. Well, guess what? At the very least, if you can get to step one to where you save $1,000, you get your food, you start saving food, you start buying in bulk, go to Costco or Sam's Club. You get your bills paid up, because like, you click on my video of the prerequisites of the millionaire savings plan. you need your food saved up. You need to, not have to go out and get food. You got, your food situation is straight. Your bills is caught up. You got your debts on some type of a payment plan or a debt snowball. So then, yeah, you could go into saving $1,000. Step one. Well, you saving $1,000 and holding it and actually trying to invest it to make it to get to where you can get on step two, where it's $2,000. Well, you ultimately just helped yourself get out of a check to check lifestyle just by doing that. And that ultimately, when you reading a book, like for example, any book, some people argue one of the best books is the Bible, because it has a lot of kind of like hidden messages in it, and then ideas about how to live your life. Of course, it's got a lot of controversy in the book as well, but it's a life changing book. Most people will agree the Bible is a life changing book. Some of the best books that I've ever read, and this book that I've written is a life changing book. That's how you know a book is good, because the information that you gather from it actually is life changing. After you put the book down, your life is not going to be the same. That is what this book is, and it's like don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on the fact that the Rich Dad Poor Dad is just the book sucks, and Robert Kiyosaki sucks as well. I mean, he just got caught lying. He got caught capping. Stop the cap. He got caught capping. He's already made his money, you know what I'm saying? But now it comes to a situation that, yeah, people are gonna call him out on this. I mean, basically, I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Probably people haven't even heard about it. But yeah, he definitely has gotten caught lying about this story that he mentioned. He would say it like it was true. He would, like, how many videos on YouTube do you hear Robert Kiyosaki talking about his rich dad? And he ain't got no rich dad. And it's like now, what does he continue talking about it like as if he's got a rich dad or not? But we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna read this passage. If you want to follow along, the link is in the chat. This article is from thecollegeinvestor.com. This is dated October 25th, 2022 by it says Robert Farrington. The ultimate hypocrite, Robert Kiyosaki, and his company's bankruptcy. Okay. A story came across the news this weekend about Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and how his company went bankrupt last month. Basically, the company didn't pay the proper royalties on its seminars, and when they lost in court, they didn't have enough money to pay it all. It wasn't a personal bankruptcy, rather a corporate bankruptcy. However, and this is another thing as well. People always say Donald Trump filed bankruptcy. Yeah, he technically didn't file bankruptcy. His company filed bankruptcy. It's a big difference. However, a corporation with money should be able to pay up for a minor royalty dispute. Only 23 million compared to 400 million in revenues. And when your name is attached to a company and your business is built around creating wealth, the word bankruptcy associated with it is usually isn't a good thing. I'd have to agree. If let's just say I made millions of dollars from selling the millionaire savings plan, right? Why would I go into bankruptcy? You know what I'm saying? And I'm already made money. I just don't. I just think that's something that is just kind of weird. I won't say weird, but just kind of physically um irresponsible because it's like you don't know what people does. People might have a coke habit. They might have $1 million a month coke habit or $1 million gambling habit. I mean, I don't know what's involved with people and they're spending their spending habits and they're bleeding their company dry. But I just don't I don't think that this is something that is like common or it makes any sense, and especially, yeah, you creating you got a business based off of creating wealth, becoming rich, listen to the advice of your rich dad. I'm sure in his articles, I mean, in his books, he don't talk about his rich dad filing bankruptcy, even if it's as this is pretty much discussed, going to be discussed. He made up the concept of having a rich dad or a poor dad. So yeah, as is further reads, however minor you may consider it, I find it appalling as a personal finance writer. This guy made a living on selling his story and encouraging others to fork out tons of money to hear it. In the end, the story crumbles and it just makes him a hypocrite. Okay, he is cooking, dude. Okay. Practice what you preach. What upsets me the most is that Kiyosaki is portrayed by many as a financial guru. Okay, I myself, yeah, at this point, I'm definitely I would consider myself a financial expert, a financial guru. You know, I've never even made $1 million status, but I can definitely say that I know what I'm doing when it comes to money. Um, a lot of times liars and stealers and manipulators do make a lot of money. Unfortunately, I don't do those things. So my money that I make, it comes a lot of times, it comes very, very difficult. And I have my own personal struggles as well. But yeah, I definitely I'm very, very good with money. I've been researching for decades now. um but yeah, this guy, he's been, he's pretty much like, I think Robert Kiyosaki is in his 60s. I mean, he's been in the game for a long time. He would be he would have to like be somebody that knows a lot more about money now than to just be keep having financial problems with his companies. It's just weird. But yeah, I'm gonna read further. um his Rich Dad Poor Dad book made him famous because of the practical advice that he pretended to gain throughout his life. He talks about life lessons learned and how that allowed him to do great things in real estate and other ventures. Prior to the problem, prior to 1997 publication of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki never had any documentation of the wealth he supposedly amassed. Okay, so that's where the cap as well. He, never really uh put anything out as far as how much money how much riches he's actually made. There really wasn't a rich dad, even though his books specifically claims there was one. Okay, that's Smart Magazine, February 20, 2003 article. in the end, this is a nonfiction story. It's just fiction, and it's so called into calls into doubt the advice he gives to readers and followers. Even though his advice may sound good, being owner, invest in cash flow, investments, etc., the fact that he or his business didn't maintain solid financial health is sad. I ain't gonna say all that is sad. I really don't care if if a company makes money or not. That's not something that I necessarily care about. You know, I don't get sad that a company doesn't make no money. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's things that make me sad. It, you know, a business owner that don't make that much money don't, it doesn't matter to me. Like that shit. You know, that's I think he's going a little bit too far. But you know, yeah, I don't think that's necessarily sad. I mean, that's a strong emotion. Uh, but you know, it definitely ain't good. It's not good that you supposed to be a financial expert and your company can't make any money. You can't make you keep having to file bankruptcy. That's that's kind of suspicious. You know, it just it just screams biz basically kind of weirdness. So yeah, this reads further. Another big red flag for me is preying on your followers. This is hypocrisy at its worst. If you're selling yourself as a model for something, values wealth creation, business, or even how you coach your kids' soccer team, don't use your followers and believers and empower them. Robert Kiyosaki wrote and sold his book, which I consider to be honorable. He then tacked on a class which was free, which is also honorable, but then he started preying on his followers. So the first class was free advice, class 2 was paid advice, $495. However, very little education and more marketing for class 3. The class 3 was paid advice at $45,000. Yes, that's not a typo. If you're a financial planner, I think it's fair to charge for advice. However, it is important to be reasonable for your services. If you're trying to help somebody get rich and provide value, $495 could be reasonable. But how could $45,000 be reasonable for any personal finance class? Furthermore, would you ever pay that given the credibility issues raised by the teacher? Damn, $45,000? Like, I mean, that's crazy. That is wild. So I'm gonna also share something on my blog real quick. I'm gonna share, this is stats about business. Uh this is it is difficult. Business is very, very difficult. But like I say, if you're an expert, if you're a financial expert, you should be able to actually be rare. You should be able to make it in business. So this is basically some statistics on companies, on businesses. Out of 1 million companies, only 50,000 will get to $1 million in revenue. I'll repeat this. Out of 1 million companies, only 50,000 will get to $1 million in revenue. Okay. Only 500 of those companies will get to 5 million in revenue. Wow. See, a lot of people don't, a lot of people, that's why a lot of people have these LLCs and they, eventually expire because you got to pay the LLC fee every year. They actually, be like, oh, they go watch a YouTube video and then they get sparked and they get, it's like, yeah, start a business. Yeah, yeah, go. And spend all of this money to start a LLC because LLCs is not cheap. It costs a nice little change. I mean, I ain't saying it's expensive, but you can start a sole proprietorship for like what, for free 99, at most probably $50, and you can always convert to a LLC when you start making money. But now people go watch these, YouTubes and these, read articles, start a business. Yeah, I mean, it's honorable. I think everybody should at least try to start a business, but you don't need to start with an LLC. LLCs is more advanced. I mean, that's like you're starting a corporation. You already making billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Yeah, you can roll out an LLC, but you got people, man, that's living in you know, um, their rental, their apartment. You know what I'm saying? And they starting LLCs, and they not even making any money. And it's very business. This is definitely, these statistics are, I believe, are very very much true because yeah, it's not like, I mean, very few companies actually even make over 50,000 to $100,000 a year. People think that everybody can make it in business. Business is very very difficult, extremely difficult. That's why most people don't really make it in business as well as even start businesses, because they'll rather work for a business, because business is very very difficult, very competitive. And as you can see, yes, as the statistics say, this is how rare it is. So again, only 500 companies will get to $5 million in revenue. And out of that 500, only 8 companies will get to 10 million or beyond. So social media makes it seem easy, but you're either outworked, you either outwork everyone or fail. Right. Um, that's a fact. It's not easy to start a business. I mean, and definitely you do not need to start an LLC out the gate. You can basically start a sole proprietorship. You make money. You can upgrade your sole proprietorship business into an LLC. It just like that. So I'm gonna read this further. So Robert Kiyosaki was charging $45,000 for paid advice. All the more having bankruptcies, failed businesses, and the story of Rich Dad Poor Dad was actually a non, actually a fiction, a fictional story, fictional character. Kiyosaki isn't the only one. The sad fact is, Robert Kiyosaki isn't the only one. There are hundreds of financial hypocrites out there. There are even more people out there that have hypocritical moments. I'm sure I have as well. Just think, Susie Orman launching a prepaid card, Donald Trump's company declaring bankruptcy 4 times. Yikes. Wow. Ray Lucia, author of Buckets of Money, charged by the SEC as misleading. It just really offends me when I see people also victimized trying to get rich. I'm a firm believer that anyone can make $1 million or more. Heck, my article Heck, read my article, and it's actually pretty easy. Now, that I'm not gonna say, because it ain't people that make, okay, only less than 10% of people make $100,000 a year. Saying that anybody can make $1 million is just cap. I'm not gonna. I mean, my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan. Yeah, you can, but it ain't easy. To say anybody can do it, even I don't say that. I don't say that. I do not. I pretty much, I'm gonna stop reading the article there. I don't say that I can that anybody can make $1 million, and I definitely wrote a book about it. You know, I mean, what's going on, Alonzo? So apparently, Robert Kiyosaki is a grifter that lied and made up the story about having a rich dad. There's no rich dad. A pack of lies, and Jolly Ranchers and moon pies. He did not have any rich dad. The story was all made up by him, and he's gotten called out for it. And I just read the article about it, and I exposed as far as like why I didn't go that route and the grifting route, and I just kind of kept it real with my own financial indiscrepancies. And pretty much, I wonder how this is going to play out as far as his legacy, as far as his even current status. I mean, is he still doing? I mean, he's one of those guys that constantly get interviews and stuff like that, and every time he opens his mouth, he mentions about his rich dad. Well, ain't no rich dad. I mean, a lot of people probably haven't got the memo. That's of course why I'm kind of doing this, as well as shameless plug. Yeah, definitely check out my book. It's available on Amazon. It's also available on brokegeniuses.com, as well as my Gumroad link in the chat. I actually am not a millionaire. This is a great book. It's basically a life-changing book. That's how you know, I'll say it again. That's how you know a good book is actually a great book, that it actually, after you read it, you're never the same person. Not saying everybody is going to read a book and then it changes their life, but this is one of those books that is a life changer. Just like any other book out there. That is a good book. That's how you know a book is actually good. I'm not saying that Rich Dad Poor Dad is not a good book. I have Rich Dad Poor Dad. No, I'm not gonna take it out of my box and throw it in my fireplace and use it for kindle wood. It's still a good book. He just basically lied about it. He fronted and he capped about him actually being having a rich dad. He didn't have any rich dad. And as soon as I saw that article, I heard about it on Twitter, and I was like, oh wow, nobody is talking about this. So I'm probably the first person that might be talking about this. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is something that's kind of undercover. Robert Kiyosaki is one of Donald Trump's homeboys, but yeah, I'm not saying he's a bad person as far as things is concerned, but he definitely got caught, lying about having a rich dad. And this concept is basically the book is basically a book of fiction. It's a story as far as him having a rich dad and stuff like that. The Millionaire Savings Plan is all real. The stuff that I talk about in it is based off of concepts that I believe works. It definitely, like I said, has worked for me on a macro level. I'm sitting with my laptop, watching my wood stove. The wood is burning very, very good. And my 1,000 square feet renovation project My cat, I got a little kitten. He's around here somewhere. He was a stray living in the garage. Now he's got a house that he can roam around, you know, because of my savings endeavors using my plan. Okay. In Black Tube YouTube, you the only one talking about this. The rest of us busy talking about dick and pussy. Oh man. Hey, dick and pussy sales, man. Dick and pussy sales, man. Hey, according to BGS, it's a big problem. It goes back to money. Not having viable women. I will say that is true. If you're having a problem having a viable woman, that is a financial problem to a certain extent, because we both are not made to be alone. Two, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Two is better than one. So it's like, let's just say if I had a partner or a woman that was on the same page as me, that means that I have somebody else kicking ass while I'm also kicking ass. The sky is the limit. Okay. Pretty much. I'll just say this: it's a few things that I have that I'm trying. That I talked the real deal about, Jonathan, as far as like me trying to I want to actually get into fixing and flipping with private money. Well, if I had another woman to kind of like, kind of utilize her clean record and whatnot, as far as things, I can, utilize her to help her make money, and we both make money together. Me doing it by myself, I got to do other routes. I got to contact my uncle, contact somebody else to try to kind of go in the deal with me. And it's like, yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, it does not necessarily dick and pussy. The having sex is, I mean, sex is great. I'm definitely getting it. I'm not getting it like I was when I was in a relationship, but the thing is that the other tangibles that are missing from actually having another woman to kind of like kind of team up with, as far as business ventures, capital utilization and stuff like that, as well as like, you got so many. The tax code alone has so many benefits when it comes to being married versus being single. I mean, it just that's just kind of how things are set up. But yeah, these niggas just basically talking about dick and pussy though. They ain't not talking about like how you can make money together and all that type of shit. They just talking about, well, you know, Keisha getting too much dick from Pookie and having all of his babies, and then she comes crying, complaining about that to all other men, and she lumps all other men with Pookie because Pookie gave her all these kids and she's by herself, and it's like, yeah, I mean, that's very true in a lot of different stories and people's personal lives. Um, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, that's also a problem, financial problem as well. But it's like, okay, I mean, it's a lot of Keishas out there, but I mean, it ain't necessarily like, ain't everybody, not every woman is a Keisha that's got a whole bunch of kids by somebody and they ain't around and shit like that. I will say it's become the norm and the standard for black women to be single with kids, unfortunately. And that does go into, everything goes back to the money, right? Cash rules everything around me. Cream get the money. dollar bill, y'all. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you got a bunch of single moms, no dad around, or they getting child support, they still don't have that financial arm that's right there. Doesn't no don't know. We had a 5 hour hangout, and we were talking about, my basically the topic of discussion was, basically, you're not competing if you are not in a coupled relationship, in a family structure, intact family. You cannot compete with an intact family. I mean, hands down. Uh, if women understood that, it would be less problems. This course of men as well understood that, it would be less problems. I mean, an intact family is the cat's meow. It just, hands down, you cannot compete with an intact family. I mean, it's like the equivalent of a single mother with children trying to compete with an intact family of a father and a mother with children, not including, both parents, involved as far as grandparents. You can't compete. It's like trying to fight with your hands tied and your feet tied, sitting in the chair. You know, Not saying the person should give up. It's just, it's kind of like you don't understand the situation. Like, I think women, a lot of women do not understand. Black women don't understand that situation. That situation means your ass should be dropping on your knees and saying, "Baby, baby, please." Shit, that's how bad it is. Like, any man that gives a fuck, you should give the umpteen fuck to kind of please him and do what it takes for him to stay there. Not to mention, if he's good enough. Okay, not saying you should let him beat your kids, and basically sexually assault your children and shit like that. Just basically, you a quote unquote good guy. You should do whatever it takes to keep that guy happy, involved, and coupled with you into some type of unit. You, hands down, ain't no other aspect of you're winning and you're doing anything, other than kind of everywhere you go looking like the pariah of society without a man. And that's it. I mean, other than that, uh the usual topic of conversation is a lot of other things, but a lot of things I center around money, capital, financial, attainment, wealth, financial indiscrepancies. I don't get in the whole, pussy dick conversation too much. I mean, I'm a man. I'm a human. I definitely am. Very good in the boardroom, I would say, and definitely the bedroom. But when it comes down to it, uh, I definitely have a lot of red pill knowledge and understanding, and definitely know more about sex than I did when I was 20 versus in my 40s. Um, it's just basically, when it comes down to it, a lot of things, it kind of comes back to the money, and it makes better sense. Like I say, if you have, if you have, both, a man and a woman in a household. I'm losing if I'm playing chess if I don't have my queen. Period. And even if the other side doesn't have their queen as well, and we've both mutually don't have our queen, I'm still considered vulnerable if I don't have that queen. I'm at a huge advantage if I have my queen and my opponent uh does not have his queen. So that just very simplistically how I look at things. I grew up in a household with both parents. African American mother, West African father. That's what I'm used to. Now I fucked up. I married Keisha, and my kids are afar, but nonetheless, if it's still, you know, bone in my body and air in my lungs, I know to you know choose wisely if ever given the chance. But I have more pressing issues to deal with. I mean, I don't necessarily think about that. I don't think about, okay, who am I gonna get with, and you know the pussy and dick conversation is entertaining to a certain degree, but Lonzo, when you were going live, I had to click on because basically I have to remind myself that you know any conversations about social society issues, definitely dick and pussy conversations, is not more important than someone going live talking about definitely what you were talking about, which is annuities, which is a financial tool that definitely the elite know about and actually have, as well as upper middle class and including middle class. I definitely had very briefly an annuity that I got from my grandfather when he was selling insurance. So yeah, it's just a no brainer. I've kind of mostly tricked my brain to you know my ultimate goal is to be a full-time investor, as well as trader. And yeah, if the financial channels that I watch, that I frequent, that talk about investing, almost most of the time, if they're live, I click on them, versus, let's just say, listening to Edward, complaining about black women. I just almost like just most of the time. Now the only exception, there are some few exceptions. I'll just say one exception. If BGS is live, he might get most likely will get my view versus uh anybody else. But other than that, yeah, I man, Earn Your Leisure Zone, or I watch the Come Up. It's a channel called the Come Up. Man, they go live. I'm tuning into them. If anybody else, you or Jonathan going live, I listen to you guys, because thing about it is, you want to be focused on your goals. You want to be focused. This money situation, in my opinion, is one of the main issues that black people have in America. I don't think it's dick and pussy problems. I think it's financial related. The reason why is I always think about the Asians. The Asians is not complaining about voting blocks. They're not out marching about voting. They're out motherfucking managing that damn chicken fried rice, them egg rolls, them crab ragoons, and that yaki number 7, number 8, that motherfucking all that shit in the beauty supply stores, and whatever else they're into, cleaners and shit like that. That's what, and they're making millions of dollars. Let me play a video, because I'm just right. I'm just yapping and dapping, but let me play beautiful bean uh footage to support what I'm talking about. Because see, that's one of our biggest problems in America, is basically lack of wealth, lack of money. Some people could say just how your mindset is because see, it's a mindset thing as well. It is. Right, exactly. That cold tan and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, making your latest iPhone and shit, Samsung. Facts. The thing is that when it comes down to it, it's also a mindset issue as well. Uh because for example, Quavo and Offset, I don't know their financial wherewithal. But I believe both of these gentlemen were, you know, I didn't know they were family members, one, but two, I do think that they were actually millionaires. But obviously, they probably had mindset problems because when you become a millionaire, as the article I read, said that he believes everybody can become a millionaire. I don't think that's the truth. Being up, and especially if you're black, if you're white, maybe that argument might hold water. If you're, if you're Anglo, or if you're pretty much Jewish and Anglo, or Jewish and white or whatever, yeah, that statement might be true, more true. But being black in America and becoming a millionaire, man, I ain't gonna even lie to you, man. When I see a black guy that's a millionaire and he made it, he ain't necessarily selling dope or nothing like that, I'm like, damn, I damn near wanna man, bow, give a curtsy or whatever. Cause it's like it's so goddamn rare, and I know how it's rare. I done umpteenth live streams talking about how rare it is. Even making $100,000, pretty much, uh St. Kevin, pretty much bust a lot of women's heads, not understanding even how rare making over $100,000 is. um Becoming a millionaire, or making $1 million income a year is very uncommon. It is very statistically rare in the black community. So rare that just people just don't understand how rare it is. And it kind of is a situation where, unfortunately, a lot of black people have millions of dollars, but they don't have a millionaire mindset to go along with that. They just have a bunch of money, and millions of dollars actually in their bank account or wherever, or cash in a Gucci bag or Louis Vuitton bag, but they don't have the mindset that kind of should go with that before you make that $1 million. And that's why you're doing broke shit, because that's broke shit. Hanging out in a bowling alley is broke shit. That's bowling was a game developed for the lower middle class to have recreation on the after work or on the weekends. That is a fact. That's not me saying this shit, making it up. This is a fact. Bowling is a lower middle class recreational sport that was invented for the lower middle class to have something to do when they got off work. And the same thing goes for pool. The game of pool actually is pretty much low class, because it doesn't take that much but a pool table and a pool stick. I mean, it's a wide variety of classes that play pool. But the thing is that these are low class recreational sports. Okay, unlike tennis or golf, which requires large amounts of square footage of landscape, as well as area, square feet to cover a golf course, and to maintain a golf course is very, very expensive. And tennis is very much a game of the upper class. So the thing is that I say all that to say, when you're a millionaire, I'm not saying you should be a bougie, pompous Uncle Tom, that speaks corporate lingo, but I don't know. You might want to hang out with some of those guys because those guys end up fucking living and not hanging out in fucking bowling alleys and getting shot or hanging around the hood. How about you stop hanging around the hood? About a whole bunch of broke motherfuckers. That's what the hood. I live in the hood now, and they shoot a lot, and shit like that. It's because these motherfuckers is broke as fuck, and that's what they do. When you broke as fuck, you just be like, fuck, shoot, pow. I mean, hold on, let me put some more fire in my wood stove, and I'll be right back. I said put some more fire. I mean some more wood. But let me play this Once Percenter documentary. I want to play it to the point where actually this Korean that he was in Chicago actually. So this is an old documentary, and this is already past tense. The Asians already took over that area where he was talking about, and they the projects got tore down. This is like Stateway Gardens and stuff like that. Robert Taylor Homes, and if you're in Chicago, that's around IIT, Illinois Institute of Technology. So that's like 35th and State, and whatnot. So he's talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So let me share my screen and not just babble, and actually, you know what I'm saying, show you what I'm talking about, not just tell you. Let's go.
My name is Mr. Pants. Mr. Pants is my second kitten. I had a kitten growing up, and when I went to get King, my first Mr. Pants, my father told me, you don't have to buy the first kitten you see. Well, I walked in, he kind of came over and purred, and I said, oh, I want that one. Yeah. First kitten I saw, but buying a condo is kind of similar. I walked into this room and I said, wow, I've been in a lot of the coolest houses in Chicago. I've never seen a room like this. Let's get this condo. So I got with my dad and we talked about it. I said, wow, I gotta like run to an ATM and get the deposit and whatever. I was just freaked out about it. 30 days later, I owned the place. And I haven't regretted the transaction since. It's a very thought-provoking place. You see the train go by and you're reminded that there are other places in the country other than Chicago. And you see what used to be housing projects are suddenly condos, and you wonder what impact you're having on the city and who lives here, who can afford to live here. It wouldn't be such a big deal if the change weren't so drastic. So these buildings used to be public housing. Now they're being taken condo. Sure, you put in new windows and you spruce the place up a little, but
this is a fact. I was in this. My mom, she always would basically befriend my sister's mothers, my sister's friends' mothers. So my sisters, we kind of like two tails on the side of a coin. Like they kind of like they embrace the ghetto-ness, the ratchetness of the Black community, I ran away from it as far as I could until it made sense. Until like I mean, I own a block in the hood. Owning a block in the hood that with the little money that I did have, hey, it made sense. I mean, I got more bang for my buck. That's what I had. I mean, but the thing is that you know, it's yeah, it is what it is. But I say all of that to say that I pretty much stay to myself. I don't necessarily. I guess I can say I fit in, but I don't fit in because I'm not no 85 octane, 87 octane dude. So I can't, what I'm saying? Like I don't necessarily talk to too many people as far as like I'll be just chilling with the homies in Gary, Indiana. Like I pretty much I ain't saying it ain't no other cats around here that's, kind of upper crust or whatever, but I pretty much, I mean, it's kind of like I could just, as far as my income, my money that I saved at the time, I had one or two options. I can live a high, kind of like a upscale kind of life based off of me renting a house or apartment and then a car, or I can just basically own a house and a car and shit like that. So, I just got in where I fit in, but I say all of that to say that yes, my mother, she, my sisters, they kind of more embraced the hood. Me, I wouldn't have been caught with a 10-foot pole, but I was with my mother. I was like probably 8 or 9 years old. This building over here is like very close to downtown. He is not lying. All they did was literally just change the windows, uh, cleaned it out, and basically so these were Section 8 CHA housing project apartments that some people probably paid $1 rent, $5 rent, $10 rent, $50 rent. And these are $500,000 condos. At this point, $1 million, or lower or above higher as far as condos. It is crazy because one, you couldn't sell that shit to me and with a 10-foot pole. I'm from here. I used to walk in. These were pissy fucking project buildings. I used to go there to like my sister's friend. What was her friend? Shit. I want to say Christina. I want to say it's been so long, but I think my sister probably knows. But like her mother was named Betty, and Betty, her sister, used to live in one of those project buildings in apartments, and it was pissy standard textbook housing project, pissy hallways, stairs and shit, and literally these apartments are $500,000, multi-million-dollar apartments. You couldn't sell that shit to me because at the end of the day, this is the fucking projects. Like you can't dress up no goddamn pig and sell it to me, telling me it's a goddamn Angus Wagyu steak. No, I'm not going. They must have sold this. They had to sold this shit to out of towners.
The fact is that someone who is using the public housing system lost his home for each one of these units that's being created.
It's happening too quick. The new stores and everything, and the new houses is too quick. The subway right there, all of this is. I mean, it's too quick. Too make believe to be true. Because like 5 years ago, you would have never dreamed that those nice condos would be there, and then the subway would be there.
Overall, I think gentrification is a tool that solidifies the stratification of classes. There are people who live in an area that becomes 100% people like them. Three big tools have been used in a lot of areas. First, you build a big police station. Secondly, you tear out all the basketball courts. And lastly, if there's a local public school that poor people attend, you tear down the school.
They closed 3 schools up around the neighborhood. The middle school, the high school.
Listen to how casually he talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like he got it down to a science, and he just talking about it like, you just take out the basketball courts and you build a big ass giant police station, and for anybody that complains, lock them up. It's like, man, dude, like these people, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like at the same time, it's like, I mean, you gotta understand, like, it's like these people are not necessarily your friends. They don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? They at the end of the day, how I look at it is, I understand what he's saying. I get the coldness, the shrewdness. I understand the different cultures of the world, and the Iceman complex or whatever, the ice cave man complex or whatever. The thing is that what I don't get is, one, I don't really eat a lot of Chinese food. Okay, basically, I don't support these people like other people do. Like if every black person was like me, like a lot of these people wouldn't get nothing. They wouldn't. They'll be starving, because the thing about it is, I mean, yeah, I get gas and shit like that, but I ain't got no reason to. I mean, when I was growing my locks, I did go in a beauty supply, but it was like little small shit. But it wasn't like I was going to there to get a Yaki number 10 to get some weave and to put it in my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like the cleaners, I just wash my own clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if I do probably frequent the cleaners and shit like that normally, I guess every now and again. But the thing is that, I mean, these people ain't getting all my money. I don't necessarily even eat Chinese food like that. I be making my own Chinese food, and it actually is better than a lot of Chinese restaurants that I've been to before. And it's like, I mean, these people don't care. Like, if I match the level of careness, like, one thing that I know from having a business and even still being in business, I will say, for the norm, it's a class thing. It's a racial component to it. Black people tend to only support you if you're black in business. Now, that's just how it's been for me. It is some businesses that transcend that, but for the most part, your people support you. You depend on, if you're a black man in business, like even my grandfather, when he was in business, he depended on black people supporting his business. He made $1 million off of black people. Black people support everybody, but then wonder why they don't get any support, and why their neighborhoods look like the ghetto, why they have, the unemployment rates that are high, how they, don't have any money, because it's kind of like, in the words of Dick Gregory, whoever you give your money to is who you give your power to. And you don't have any power because you're giving all of your power away. And as you said earlier, I think in your stream, Alonzo, you know, I don't want to give you any money, a black man or woman. This is their mindset. I don't want to give you any of my money because I don't want you buying a nice car and getting a nice house and then, making me look bad. So I want you to be just where I am. So I don't want to support your business. Black people have that kind of slave plantation mentality toward one another, and don't want to support each other. And the thing is that at the same time, people, basically they're getting rich off of your dysfunction.
School and baby school.
Why?
Oh, 3 bills. I don't know. I guess they trying to push us out of the neighborhood. It's decent people living in the project. Pay their rent, people work. Everybody ain't the enemy. Hey, what's happening?
You live here.
Yeah, I lived here approximately my whole life, 28 years to be exact. So, this is the garbage they put up there that they probably been taking down because the problem they had is fixed. So, the phones used to work when the police used to have their police station right here. This used to be their police station right there.
What happened to that?
We ran away. Well, the people ran away because they was on BS. They got mailboxes. Half the doors don't lock on the mailboxes. Do I have any mail? I ain't checking the mailbox today. I got a bill. Yep, I got a bill from True that I never get the newspaper that they sent it to me. The changes in the neighborhood is changes in the neighborhood around us, not to us, around us. We got 1.5 schools in our neighborhood, 35, 40 kids in one classroom with one teacher. He can't teach everybody all, he needs some help. So that's why all the kids, when they go in class, they ain't getting no attention, they gonna run away.
This land is worth more than what the niggas over here can give them. So what can you do with them? You displace them, and the ones that you don't want over here, you get rid of them. You get rid of them. And what you use as an excuse, you use the drug dealers, you use the cocaine handlers, you know what I'm saying, cocaine dealers. You know what I'm saying, you use the people that's over here doing nonsense to try to get rid of nonsense. We grew up as a family, one building to the next building to the next building. You can sit up here and talk all you want to, but yet still, we love our kids. This is my son. Come here. This is my son.
Do you feel like your kids have an opportunity to get rich in this country?
Hell no. They ain't no rappers. My kids ain't gonna be rappers. They ain't gonna be rich.
It's easier to just cleanse.
See, that's the thing. Like people's concept still to this day, even to this day. This documentary is over 10 years ago. People's mindset today still, and actually this was filmed back in the early 2000s, so like 2002 or 2001. But people's mindset is that only black people can make money off of sports and entertainment because they don't read Black Enterprise, they don't read the Savoy, they don't read other news medias that outlets or whatever, that they think that black people's mindset, the disenfranchised black mindset is black people can only make money off of rapping, sports, and some type of monkey dancing or entertainment. And there's so many ways to make money. I mean, I have to admit, my thought process when I saw a black man with a big body Benz, brand new, even if it was used, hell, this person probably sold drugs. I don't even think that no more. That's the last thing that I would think, because I know of so many black people making money off of real estate, stocks, forex, insurance, selling cars, investing in rental properties and being a landlord. I mean, just so many different avenues that I mean, business owners, Shopify, FBA, Amazon FBA. It's so many ways, man. It's a lot of different areas black people that I follow on different social media outlets that the things that they do to make a living, that it's not like, I ain't gonna say like this shit is new. A lot of this shit is because of the internet, the power, using the power of the World Wide Web, but it's so many other ways to make money besides like sports and entertainment. I mean, that's a far cry conclusion that all you got to do is just make money off of sports and entertainment. Most of the elite millionaires make money off of combination of the stock market and real estate. Primarily, if you just had to put it in one aspect, it's real estate. That is the number one tool for wealth. Even myself, I have one house. This one house has changed my entire life. I don't have any mortgage. I don't have any rent. Do have a tax bill that's due though, but it's changed my life. Every month, people got to pay $1,500, $1,200, $1,000 for their mortgage. Not me, sir. Not me, ma'am. I paid this house off. I'm going through renovations. I'm still going through renovations. This one house has made me wealthier than any other thing that I bought in my entire life. And it's just one house. If I buy another one, it's going to be even better. So it's like, yeah, real estate, if you had to focus on one thing, real estate is one tool that is a wealth catalyst that can put you into the stratosphere as far as wealth is concerned. But let me continue on with this capitalistic elite Asian prick.
The earth of these people, send them to the far reaches of the universe, and the mayor's office will build a big police station, build a bunch of townhouses, the yuppies will buy in and bourgeoify it, and suddenly we'll have a community. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of people displaced. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of crime problems, but it's easier. We found the easy solution.
Charles Darwin did not invent the term survival of the fittest. That was Herbert Spencer, a social Darwinist who thought that if we just allowed the rich to get richer, that was good for society because we want to discourage the poor from having a lot of children and basically surviving. That kind of social Darwinist notion has stayed alive in certain quarters, and I believe that it is there behind much of the economic policies we are now seeing.
Look, there's never in history been a time when the ordinary people of this world, and particularly in the rich nations like the United States, Britain, and Europe, never been a time when the ordinary people have had the level of income and living that they now do.
But what about the tens of thousands of people whose lives were affected by this?
You can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. You have a system which is overwhelmingly yielding good results. But there's no question that it's not perfect, and there are cases in which people will get hurt. But that's true of any system.
Doesn't it make you nervous when you see so many powerful and extremely wealthy individuals sitting there directly influencing those politicians when we're in a democracy?
They're not influencing anything. They're playing a role in the political system, but Congress is ultimately going to be influenced by public opinion, by what the public wants. The public will get what the public wants.
A few months ago, I told the American people I did not trade arms for hostages. My heart and my best intentions still tell me that's true, but the facts and the evidence tell me it is not.
In the 1980s, the U.S. government illegally sold weapons to Iran and used the money to support Nicaraguan rebels in what turned out to be the Iran-Contra scandal. At the center of the deal was one billionaire who had unfettered access to the secret workings of the U.S. government.
We got involved in this Iran-Contra story, which unfortunately backfired a little bit on everybody. They asked me to
finance it. I said, okay. So I gave credit to the CIA for $1 million, and they shipped the equipment, and the Iranian paid me back. It was supposed to be a hush-hush operation. As business people, we have ways of manipulating the government officials, and they have ways of manipulating us. I take advantage of opportunities that come in all relationship in the world. When you have contact, like if I have contact with you now, I'll call you when I arrive in New York and say, hi, Adnan, I want to see you. I said, it's nothing abnormal. You probably will take me out to dinner and introduce me to another person who I make business with.
You would say.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna close this one on out. Anyway, if you don't want somebody that is a cap artist, definitely stop the cap. If you want, basically someone that is pretty much honest and forthright, and you want to try to make some money, and you're not happy living check to check, and don't want to necessarily follow any scam artist that's telling you a bunch of non-fictional or fictional fairy tales about having a rich dad. Yeah, purchase the Millionaire Savings Plan, available on Amazon and also brokegeniuses.com. It's also a Gumroad link that's in the description of basically all of my videos. I gotta actually fix this link as well. But yeah, it's on all of my videos. Basically check it out. And you guys have a good evening.